Star Wars. Where do I even begin with Star Wars?
What the fuck?
I have to say I'm a little proud of myself considering how big of a Star Wars fan I was when I was a kid. I was really young. Prequels, because that was my day and age, were everything. My parents showed me the New Hope, the first Star Wars film, when I was very young, like probably a little too young. That little trash compactor monster absolutely scared the shit out of me. But Star Wars was everything to me when I was a kid. I got all those big books that were like the lore behind General Grievous and the Clone Wars. I got every game, everything. Star Wars Demolition was the oldest one I can remember, way back on the PlayStation 1. But everything from Jedi Starfighter to Battlefront 1 and 2, Republic Commando, which still is a great game. Oh, well, I guess Battlefront's still great. You get the point. Huge Star Wars fan. And I cannot express how nice it feels to have grown up and tempered expectations and not been a massive fan and lose my mind over everything Star Wars because, oh, I would have no reason to live. There's a great quote which is, don't peek behind the curtain. And it's a very simple quote. It means don't look at how things are made, don't look at how things are done, don't look behind the superficial nature of whatever you're consuming, whether that be media content or otherwise. And this is great, especially for movies, because once you peek behind that curtain, once you understand the inner workings of how things operate, you start to get a different kind of perspective and tend to be more cynical and a little bit more anal about what you watch. I myself have that exact same problem. So I'm not super big into celebrities and Star Wars production life, but I'm really big on movies. I've joked a few times that if I didn't make videos about video games, I would be a movie review channel because I love film. However, when you really watch a lot of film and you understand the inner workings, and it's not just, lightsabers. Once you start understanding things like tone or pacing or editing, shots, lighting, when you start understanding the intricacies of acting and story structure and what each act means, when you get into those inner workings, it makes you appreciate certain films a lot more, but ones that are just, become horrendous. Take, for example, a movie called The Lighthouse. It was released this year. It's my favorite movie of the year, maybe the last 2 or 3 years. It stars Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson, and it is a black and white film, about an hour and a half long, in the weird box format. And it is about 2 men on a lighthouse with a very The Shining, cabin fever, psychological horror with a bit of comedy style film. But when you actually watch it from like a real film appreciation standpoint, and you're like, this acting, these shots, the cinematography, and you can understand it's about like cabin fever and claustrophobia, which is why it's in a box format, because it feels more tight and contained, and you understand all these things and you appreciate it just so much more. But it also teaches you what bad pacing, bad editing, and bad story structure is. And The Rise of Skywalker is every single one of these things to a T. I actually had hopes for this film. I was legitimately hopeful. I was thinking, you know what? They may have learned their lesson. They learned the lesson with The Mandalorian. Mandalorian is not a perfect show, but it's very entertaining. And I thought, okay, maybe they kind of are starting to get it. I liked Rogue One. It was really fan servicey, but I liked it. And and Han Solo didn't do so well, so maybe, okay, I had a little bit of faith, like this works, this didn't work, this is working, maybe they'll put something together. Nope, they fucked it up so bad. Once the reviews started coming in, they were really negative. I thought, okay, I'll temper my expectations. I'll wait a little bit. All right, I'm not gonna go into this thinking of it's the greatest thing ever. I'll be like, okay, if I get some cool action scenes, some cool lightsaber fights, it's fine. I didn't even get that. This might be my least favorite Star Wars movie ever, except for maybe Attack of the Clones. So The Last Jedi, I think, would be a pretty good film on a technical level, right? The shots look great. The whole Holdo Lightspeed Ram scene is a wonderful scene. It looks great. The absence of sound and to that big explosion, it looks really wonderful, right? The crate battle has that nice wide shot of Kylo on one end and Luke on the other, and it looks really well done. The acting is really good, especially Adam Driver. All that stuff is great. That technical aspect is great. Just has some story problems. A lot of story problems. I didn't hate that film as much as everybody else did. Some parts I were okay with, like, Luke doesn't like the Force anymore. I was like, oh, you know, that makes sense. You know, he kind of turns into a hermit after failing. I can kind of get that. You have like, oh, Rey's parents were nobody. Like, oh, okay, I can work with that, because then it's the idea like greatness can come from anywhere, you know, and that's kind of a cool idea. Don't sacrifice yourself for the greater good, Finn. That is fucking stupid. But I can say technically good, writing and story structure bad. This new film, I can't even say that. This is a prime example. If you don't know what editing and pacing is, this is what bad editing and bad pacing are. When you're watching this film, do you ever feel like it's just going way too fast? They're just like 2 words dialogue, scene, next planet, scene, one conversation or maybe a sentence or 2, scene. Poe is mad about something, scene. Rey, scene. Kylo, scene, scene. Fast. That's bad editing. That's what bad pacing is. This is the definition, the textbook definition. Open the book, look in definition of bad pacing, bad editing, Rise of Skywalker. I haven't even gotten to the clusterfuck that is the actual plot line of this film, but the pacing and editing is so rushed. Everything is so fast. We have no time to dwell on anything. You are just constantly moving at a breakneck pace, and you just can't take in anything. What are scenes? What are scenes? There's a thing called scenes. You're supposed to put those in your film. I went back and watched The Last Jedi after watching this film, and you know, despite its flaws, it has some solid scenes. Like Andy Serkis as Snoke. Snoke's kind of a joke now, right? But Snoke's actual performance, he's intimidating. He's got his Louis Vuitton robe, but he's a scary guy. He's giant, super powerful Sith guy. But he was yelling at Kylo Ren, like, yeah, you got beat by a girl, lightsaber zap. Oh, shit. It's kind of scary, you know? He's intimidating villain. He looks funny, but But those scenes are long conversations, discussions, and they keep on going, and they talk, and it melds and it works. That throne room scene, even if you hate it because the choreography was bad, which it was, and Snoke dying, if you hate that throne room scene, everything leading up to his actual death is pretty good. When Rey is getting flung around the place, Snoke is just kind of giggling to himself. He's like, oh, this is Luke's on a planet. I didn't know about that one. All right. That whole thing is very tense. Provides a lot of real hardcore tension to the atmosphere, to the environment, to the viewer. Was I ever really that tense in the most recent film? Maybe because I was having an epileptic fit from the lightning. Oh my God, the first 5 and the last 20 minutes of this film. I didn't get seizure warnings in my screening. I heard that some people said that there were seizure warnings, and I totally get why, because it is blinding. That's the difference between a good movie with some weird botched writing parts versus this. This is just a bad film, technically. On a technical level, this is just not a well-made movie. So many plot points are added and removed immediately. Remember Poe's old bounty hunter girlfriend or something that hated him and then gave him the most important valuable she owned, and then her planet blew up, and then she was at the end somehow? You know, there's like 20 minutes that were probably cut of that relationship trying to blossom and foster and really add some character weight to all that. No, it's gone, skipped. Remember the whole Sith dagger thing, where a guy wrote the map to a MacGuffin to get to an area on his weapon that he could have shanked someone with, and the guy would have been like, ah, and then run away? Like, oh, fuck my map. Okay, let me do some positives real fast. If I had to do about 3 positives, I got about 3, maybe 4. Kylo Ren, Adam Driver's back must be so fucked from how hard he has carried this whole trilogy. Remember Force Awakens, when we were all like, Kylo Ren, you emo edgy boy, this whiny little bitch Kylo Ren, oh my, and now he's the best part of all the films. He's the #1 driving force of all 3 films. How wrong we were. Adam Driver is a phenomenal actor, always has been, and he killed it in this. I did appreciate some of the Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford moments. Harrison Ford looked like he could not give less of a fuck, but the scene itself was pretty good. And Carrie Fisher's whole part is awkward because obviously she's dead, but the scene, they did the best. They did okay with my prior knowledge. The last 2 are Palpatine stuff. Okay, Ian McDermott as Emperor Palpatine is just going full ham, and I loved it. All right, him in the film makes no fucking sense. The fact that he's alive makes no fucking sense. As a plot point, it is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but his acting is awesome. I love how just insanely evil he is. He has all that old school, yeah, the Sith, and it's great. It's great. Also, I can't wait for this film to come out so I can see people adding his base boosted fucking lightning hands. Was that wasn't me? That wasn't just me, right? When he shot lightning in the air and it sounded like a goddamn base boosted meme that I would put in my fast frame series. It wasn't me, right? It wasn't just me. I think the one big reason that this film made me mad was I felt like I was being talked down to. I felt like I was being almost treated like a child. Where it's like, hey, remember Lando? You like Lando, right? Remember Palpatine? You like Palpatine, right? You like Palpatine. Remember Tatooine? Oh, we know you like that Tatooine. Rey? Palpatine. Tatooine. Ketamine. The film literally feels like so much backtracking at a backtracking sprinting pace. Sprinting backwards while throwing in so much fan service just to be like, you dumb, eat it up, you dumb fat Star Wars nerds. That's right, eat the shit we're giving you. And some people did. The people right next to me in the theater, every time something happened, they're like, oh my god, oh, it's Lando. Oh, Lando, Lando said it. He said the thing, the bad feeling. He said it. It's Palpatine. Oh, C-3PO. Oh, Chewbacca. Chewie. Remember that time no one liked General Hux? So they just gave him 2 minutes of screen time and shot him and replaced him with someone better? Remember the time when Rose, no one liked her? So they literally gave her no scenes this film, like she's never in it almost at all. Remember the time when people didn't like Holdo's maneuver? So they said it's 1 in a million. Remember when they didn't like Rey not being someone? She's a Palpatine. Remember when you got the Snoke died and everyone was like, what? He was a clone. It was the Emperor. Remember when Luke Skywalker renounced the Force and no one liked that? So he catches the lightsaber and was like, this should be treated with respect. And then looks at the camera and says, I was wrong to denounce the Force. And then he pulled out his throbbing cock and said, suck on this shit, Rian Johnson. I haven't even got into the fucking plot. Star Destroyers can't go up, apparently. Go up. Go the opposite direction of where you're supposed to be coming from. Where did he get 1 million Star Destroyers? How come they all can blow up planets by themselves? Why is there only 2 comm towers? They turned off the bottom comm tower. Why didn't they just turn it back on when they were threatened on their big ship? Why is there only 1 on the big ship? How did he know it was on the big ship? Because he had a feeling? Yeah, okay. There were a bunch of horses riding on that Star Destroyer. Why didn't the Star Destroyer just turn sideways and fling them all off like that? Why does a Y-Wing is able to blow up an entire gun on a Star Destroyer by itself? How come you had to navigate through weird space cancer in a weird space nebula to get to this place, but then the entire Republic fleet was able to fly in there like it was nothing? Why is a map on the Sith guy's dagger? Why does it have a little pop-out thing that shows you where it is in the Death Star wreckage? Has the wreckage never shifted or moved? You do realize when it comes to having that stuff, you have to be standing in a very precise spot. Did Rey know she was supposed to be standing there? Did she just go somewhere else? Force healing is a thing in the extended universe, but it's only used to treat minor wounds. You can't revive full people. Here's a snake worm to use it on so it can be reincorporated later in the film. Oh, it's reincorporated to solve a fatal lightsaber wound, and then incorporated again to bring someone back to the dead. Isn't that why Anakin turned into Darth Vader? Because Padme died and he couldn't bring her back from the dead? Why did Kylo Ren just die immediately after that and he fell over like a little pancake? Why was that kiss the most awkward thing in the world? Why do they fly now? Why did it, when the big evil Sith guy went to go kill Rey's parents, and Rey is a little baby on the ground in Jakku and screaming at the ship for her parents to come back and crying, and the Sith guy didn't look out a window and was like, oh shit, we forgot the kid. Found the kid. Palpatine had to have sex to have children. And on a lore side of things, that means it would have been after his face got fucked up. Do you think it's consensual? I don't think it was consensual. Why is Rey so busted in this film where she can pull down a cruiser by herself? Kylo Ren said he didn't want to kill her. So why was he flying his TIE fighter at her at 500 miles an hour? He doesn't want to kill her. If he did want to kill her, why wouldn't he just shoot her? It's the TIE Interceptor. It's really strong. She cut it in half, and he fell out of the TIE fighter and rolled at probably 5 million G's, and then it exploded. And he walked out without a single scratch on him. What were the point of the Knights of Ren? They didn't do anything this film. At all. Why did they give Chewie the medal? Why did Rey say she was Rey Skywalker? Wouldn't it be better to call yourself Rey Palpatine? Kind of embracing the point that even though your name may be evil, you yourself are not? What the fuck? I envy any of you who liked this film and walked out of it like, that was a good film. Honestly, good on you. Because I can't. I just can't. It was like infuriating. If it was at least a competent film, I wouldn't care. I've seen many a film where their stories are stupid, but they're at least competent. This was neither. Well, that's that. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I'd recommend not seeing it. I thought it was terrible. However, The Mandalorian is a pretty good show. It doesn't really have an overarching plot. It's more of like a adventure of the week kind of thing, but it's a pretty good show. It's not amazing, but I like it. It's good time. Way better than this shit. And yeah. That's Star Wars. Support me on Patreon to get access to awesome stuff.